I can only count to four. I can only count to four. I can only count to five. I've had that Let the Bodies Hit the Floor parody song, the one with the puppets, just stuck in my head for the past week. I can only count to five. I can't get it out, and I think I may need a lobotomy. Anyway, greetings. Anyways, greetings, salutations, hello, fellow nations. My name is Phil, and that, of course, is Phil with one L. And today, I realized something. There are so many Pinocchio adaptations. 4 in this year alone. Most recently, there was the remake of the 1940 Walt Disney classic adaptation, arguably the most famous and well-known adaptation, starring Tom Hanks as Geppetto. There's also next month a stop-motion adaptation being helmed by Guillermo del Toro, one of my favorite filmmakers, which will be darker in nature and much closer to the original story. This is the one I am most excited for because it's been in development for over a decade, I think. They announced it when I was in 7th grade, back when I looked like this and was obsessed with anything that utilized puppet animation. There are also 2 straight-to-DVD adaptations that came out earlier this year. Pinocchio, A True Story, which is the one I think we all know. It's the one where Pinocchio sounds like,
"Father, when can I leave to be on my own? I've got the whole world to see."
And then there was also another one called Pinocchio and the Water of Life, where there is sentient, magical water that brought Pinocchio to life, and they're on a journey to find more. And there's also a talking bear or moose, I think. I watched the trailer 2 minutes ago, and it's already leaving my brain. Oh, and next year, I think we're getting a Dark Souls-esque video game adaptation of Pinocchio called The Lies of P. I found out about this at the beginning of this year, and I've been looking forward to it ever since. I'm not even a gamer, and I can't wait to play this. This led me down the deranged rabbit hole that is the internet and into researching just how many Pinocchio adaptations there are. A lot. There's a lot. And each one seems to take the classic story and put its own spin on it in a way to differentiate itself from the others and make itself unique. And that's where I came across this gem, Pinocchio 3000. Pinocchio, except he's not a puppet, he's a robot. And it's the future. We're in the future. I saw the poster and it didn't look like a real movie, which, as you may come to find out or already know on this channel, is my favorite genre of film. Films that shouldn't exist, but against all odds of nature and mathematic probability just do. And I have to give them respect for that. I know what you're thinking. Why is he built like Rodney Copperbottom? And you'd be wrong to assume so, because Robots came out in 2005. And this film came out in 2004. So who's actually copying who here? The answer is no one. I then came to discover that this film is just free on YouTube, uploaded by a channel called Animation Movies. With all of that said, let's dig in. The film begins in the year 3000. Not much has changed, but they live underwater. And your great-great-great-granddaughter, she's doing fine. Oh, wait, this isn't my script. These are the lyrics to Year 3000 by Busted. This is so embarrassing. This happens all the time. The film really begins in the laboratory of Geppetto, who has just finished building Project P3K, otherwise known as his android child, Pinocchio. The designs of the robots in this film are, utterly terrifying. They decided to give them hyper-realistic eyes and human teeth, continuing the thread of giving things human teeth that should not have human teeth. And one of the robots, you can actually see the red veins in his eyes, which is it's unsettling. We are then introduced to the main setting of this movie, Scamboville, ran by Mayor Scamboli. Did a 5th grader write this? Also, don't know who thought it was a good idea to elect a mayor who has the word scam in his name. What's the president's name? Flim Flam? Which I also just found out is a real word, by the way, and I could not wait to use it in a sentence. He also is apparently an omnipotent god who can see and hear everything.
Little brats. They don't appreciate the magnificence of the city I built for them.
Members of our fair city to offer you Rides?
Scamboli wants his utopia to be perfect and for everything to be made of chrome. The only thing standing in the way of this are the rebellious children of Scamboville. Scamboli hates all kids except for his own daughter Marlene, whose character description on the Wikipedia says that she's semi-technophobic, which the literal definition of is having or showing a fear or dislike of new technology. But here specifically in the context of this film, means that she's prejudiced against robots and doesn't think of them as people. So, you know, kind of racist. And if you think I'm exaggerating by using the word racist, in her very first scene, she installs a virus onto one of her father's servant bots just for fun.
Please, no, not again.
Marlene, will you ever grow up? You're ruining my robots.
You and your silly robots. Who needs them anyway?
Scamboli tells her to stop this, and her response is that it's the only way to have fun in the city that they live in.
But Dad, how am I supposed to have fun if I'm not committing hate crimes as a member of the Master Race?
Marlene remarks to her father that the city is boring and that there's no place for kids to go to have fun and escape. This gives the mayor the idea to create an amusement park called Scamboland to evict the kids from his Chrome Wonderland and keep them separated. I was going to say separated. And who would go to a place called Scamboland? Apparently everyone. All of the kids go to Scamboland's grand opening where Scamboli makes a spectacular presentation. Meanwhile, back in Geppetto's lab, the inventor gets ready to bring his mechanical boy to life, but all the power in the city is being diverted to the Scamboland event, so Geppetto steals the power, causing a blackout at the park.
Ready for the big surprise?
I hope you're ready for a bigger one, Scamboli.
Is that scream coming out of his dick? The blackout leads to the kids becoming disinterested and leaving. Back at Geppetto's, Pinocchio finally comes to life. He shakes hands with the sentient house, runs around, has a giggle that is not creepy at all.
No, over and it is.
Oh, Pinocchio, we'll do so many fun things together, like playing. I'm going to create the most wondrous toys for you.
Will we play ball?
Look, okay, I know it's a common phrase, let's play ball, but it's the pause that Pinocchio takes right before he says ball. Can we play ball?
Ooh, cool! Firecrackers!
I feel good.
Geppetto's face is saying, oh, son, that ain't no cracker. People got mad at the Disney remake of Pinocchio for casting Cynthia Erivo, a black actress, to play the Blue Fairy, a character who in the original was traditionally, and in most adaptations, portrayed to be white. And they weren't even the first to do it. Pinocchio 3000 had them beat by, 18 years?
Mom!
Easy, Robo Boy. I ain't nobody's mama.
Nice to see that Geppetto made sure to install the latest Mommy Issues update. But to be fair, that'd be my response to any woman built like that. No, because seriously, why is the Blue Fairy built like that?
The category is body. Look at the way it's sitting.
This is Cyberina, this story's version of the Blue Fairy.
Look at my coils. Did I really program this ugly dude? Recoil.
Haha, get it? Coils? Because they're used in engineering and they're also a hairstyle most commonly worn by black women. It's a clever joke, but I can't help but wonder, why do her coils look like a jester's hat? They even have bells at the end that jingle. Look, this time I'm not actually saying it's racist, but it don't feel right. So Rita calls herself the local fairy, whatever that means, and says that she's come to grant Geppetto's wish for Pinocchio to become a real boy, but only if Pinocchio learns the difference between right and wrong.
And once you have, I'll turn you into a real kid. Deal, Cyberboy?
Save to memory. Whoa!
Tomorrow, you'll go to school. But now, it's time to close your eyes and sleep.
Sleep? Close my eyes and sleep. Saved to memory.
Geppetto's robot butler, Spencer the Penguin, voiced by Howie Mandel, don't ask me, I don't know, takes Pinocchio to school the next day. There he befriends Zach and Cynthia.
It's called a funbrella. It makes any day sunny. It even makes bad moods go away.
It sprinkles ecstasy that seeps into your skin.
What's a doing at school?
She only says robot, but the way she says it makes it feel like a slur, so I'm censoring it.
He may be funny, but he's just another geeky Oh yeah? I've got a P3K imagination module, the latest technology. Imagination? You've got to be kidding. That's a human thing. A wouldn't get it.
Pinocchio and Marlene skip school, and she takes him to her imagination tent, which turns out to be bigger on the inside. And Cyberina also shows up.
On my left, embarking on his first flight of imagination, Pete. Aren't you supposed to be in school, honey?
Oh, yeah, well...
Pinocchio!
Wow, she sure as hell dropped that fast. Aren't you supposed to be in school? You know what? I don't care. I'm not your mama. They begin the imagination game, which is just whoever can imagine the most stuff. That's a lame-ass game. And anything they imagine, the tent makes into a reality. At the end of the game, Marlene quickly shifts her attitude towards Pinocchio and starts to think that maybe robots aren't all that bad.
I gotta admit, you're pretty good. You weren't so bad either.
Don't worry, Pinocchio. You're one of the good ones. Sabrina gives the medal to Marlene in a test of Pinocchio's humility, which he fails rather spectacularly.
No! This is lame! I was better than her!
Hey!
Keep the stupid medal, Zinkhead. I knew it! You're just a...
Damn! Just a second ago you were saying... well, that didn't take long. Pinocchio basically says to hell with Marlene winning because mathematically he imagined way more things, but Sabrina tells him that it doesn't matter if it's fair. Marlene is the one that she chose to be the winner. Pinocchio steals the medal and they argue and disperse. Scamboli's henchmen take Pinocchio to meet the mayor, who is impressed with the little robot. Pinocchio, charmed by the mayor, says that all kids should be more like them. This gives Scamboli the idea to open the park back up, and he uses Pinocchio to lure the children back. They put on a concert where Pinocchio sings.
Ooh, this place is just like a dream. Welcome to Scamboland!
Geppetto goes to bring Pinocchio home, but is kidnapped by Scamboli, while they open a new roller coaster called A Whale of a Change, which is actually an Easter egg for the original story because Pinocchio gets swallowed by a whale. All the kids get on the ride, which turns out to be a trap made by Scamboli, who used Geppetto's research to do so. It transforms all of them into robots, and it's honestly kind of chilling to hear them go from screaming with delight and having the time of their lives to just absolute silence. Pinocchio apologizes to Marlene, and together they attempt to get on the ride, but they are ultimately stopped by her father, who scorns Pinocchio and tells him to stay away from his daughter. They ignore this almost immediately, and Marlene takes Pinocchio to her secret garden, which is not a euphemism.
Do you get sad often? Well, it isn't easy with a father like mine. I love him, but sometimes I wonder if he loves me as much as those two dumb... Oops, that's okay. They are dumb.
Pinocchio, those are your people she's talking about. Like,
Stand up!
Good night.
ugh. Marlene wakes up the next morning to find that her father's robot army is turning the garden to chrome, while Pinocchio stands atop a hill, watching and gleefully laughing at the destruction. Scamboli's minions inform Pinocchio that the robots are actually all of the enslaved children from Scamboville, and that it's all his fault because he gave the mayor the idea.
You're lying! Your nose should be growing!
Well, why was that so awkward? You're lying! Your nose should be growing! He ends up stealing a shuttle and is immediately pursued by the police because he does not know how to drive.
drivers.
Blue lives don't matter. Save to memory. Also, I'm pretty sure that was constructive manslaughter, you smug little shit. Pinocchio gets home and finds out that his father isn't there, and him and Spencer deduce that he must still be at Scamboland. The robot cop, Robocop if you will, trademark, turns out to be alive, and the house knocks him out so that the duo can escape. When they get to Scamboland, the mayor sicks his on Pinocchio, but then he quickly gets another idea.
That'll suit you, Geppetto Bot.
Dad, you can't!
Correction, Minibot. I have.
Jeez, I love how Scamboli goes from Saturday morning cartoon supervillain to I'm gonna make this man kill his own son. Spencer manages to snatch the remote and they play keep away, and Scamboli chases Pinocchio into the tunnel of danger where they make a deal. If Pinocchio can survive his twisted little game, he will turn everyone back to normal. If not, I don't know, I guess he dies. While playing the game, Pinocchio almost loses, but then he uses the metal that he stole from Marlene to deflect a laser and blow the whole thing up, winning the game? I don't know if that necessarily is winning. If I challenged you to a race or an obstacle course, I guess would be also an apt comparison, and you just drop a bomb on the whole course, the whole track, I don't know if you won. I don't know if you lost, but I don't know if you won either. Pinocchio reads the code in his father's eyes, which is actually pretty cool, and figures out how to reverse the robot process. All the children are turned back to normal, and now it's Geppetto's turn, but his transformation is cut short by Scamboli. Duh, he wasn't dead. Did y'all just forget? He intends on attacking Pinocchio, who begins to flatter him.
You're so strong, and you have such a handsome profile.
True, of course, and credit to you for noticing it.
You're so dummy thick. You have the fattest ass, and you're saucy like a barbecue, but you won't get your baby back. All of this, of course, is a ploy to get his nose to grow so that he can reach the button behind him and start the ride up again, disposing of the villain once and for all. Cyberina arrives to see that Pinocchio has finally learned his lesson, I guess.
Look! I'm a real boy!
Oh, God, I wish you weren't. I wish you weren't.
Do I look like a real boy, Papa?
Scamboli has now become a Scambobot, and Geppetto decides that Scamboli should spend a couple of days as a robot as punishment for his crimes. Vigilante justice. I dig it. The day is saved, and Cyberina uses the Funbrella to make everyone gay.
Fuck out my way when you see me. I'm rolling with the LGBT. Fuck out my way when you see me.
Nature begins to heal, and they all lived happily ever after. That was Pinocchio 3000, a very strange and odd Pinocchio adaptation, but probably not the worst one to ever exist. Like, I get it. It's very difficult to make yourself stand out when you're adapting a story that everyone knows and, like, almost everyone has adapted in some form or the other. Pinocchio is so well known, he's even in insurance commercials. But for this film, setting it in the future just wasn't enough to separate it. The environmentalism was a nice touch, but ultimately isn't really touched upon and gets lost in, everything else when you're adapting a Pinocchio story at the same time. It's like you're trying to be Pinocchio, but also kind of the Lorax at the same time. It's a lot to juggle. Also, it goes without saying, this is a straight-to-DVD animated film from 2004, but the animation absolutely does not hold up, and that kind of detracts from it just a little bit. It, hasn't aged the greatest, but I'll give credit where credit is due. It is a cute little movie. Like, if I was babysitting my little cousins and I needed to put on a movie to keep them entertained, this is something I would definitely put up. Not an animated classic by any means, but at least it's not a Minions movie. But that's going to be it for today's video. Please like and subscribe. Stick around. More videos to come. If you don't, I will turn you and your entire family into robots. Comment down below. Are there any weird adaptations of Pinocchio that you maybe grew up with? I didn't grow up with this one, but There's so many out there, as we've established today. Please remember that at the end of the day, every day, it's all good. And if it's not right now, I promise you it's gonna be. Take care, Nomies. I will see you in the next one. You're lying! Your teeth should be growing. Your teeth should be growing. What the fuck? Next video. You'll get that when you get that.